Hi everyone, I hope you're doing well. My name is Nathan, and today I'm going to play another two-man with Jeskai Geist. And the reason I'm playing two-mans this week instead of a league is I didn't realize when I started I was already in a modern league with Jeskai Control, so we'll just play some two-mans, maybe an eight-man. I want to get your help evaluating some cards. First and foremost is Ancestral Vision. I have been at times very happy and unhappy with this card. It sort of seems like it has some variance to it. It's great early, it's bad late. That's one of the reasons for this Izzet Charm. If you watched my first video, I did lose the match, but I was able to use Izzet Charm exactly in the way that I intended. We were playing against Goblins, a very aggressive decks. Vision was too slow. We ended up drawing a second Visions. Was really hoping to find an Electrolyze, even though we're only running Electrolyze or Removal, even though we're only running one Electrolyze, and I was able to cycle the Izzet Charm to find an Electrolyze. And just mainly cycle away these Ancestral Visions because they're bad late. So that's the main reason for running Izzet Charm. It's also a bad, like, Helix or Bolt as far as creature removal, and not a great counter, not a great piece of 2-mana counter magic. But it kind of fits all of those bills, and I've been reasonably happy with it lately. The other card I'm evaluating is, besides Vision, is Spell Pierce and Spell Snare. Truth be told, I'm not a huge fan of either of these. I really don't like how situational they are. They have to be casting something that's 2, or it has to be early in the game. But I actually think Pierce in general is pretty good. Being able to say, like, Pierce a turn on Aether Vial if you're on the play is great. Stuff like that. Or even Hand Disruption. And when Spell Pierce and Spell Snare are good, I think they're great, but when they're bad, they're just really bad, and sometimes you really just wish it was almost anything else. So on this deck, I don't like loading up on this effect too much, but, you know, with things like Thopter floating around, it might be better to just have 2 Spell Snare, so I'm going to be trying to make that decision. Now, one change I made from the first video in this series was I took out the 2 Ghost Quarter and I put in 2 Tectonic Edge, but I changed my mind again and I'm going back to Ghost Quarter. One reason I like Tectonic Edge is just that they don't get to fetch a land, and so you can kind of constrict their mana, and it makes your mana leaks better. But we're not really on the, you know, if we were more of a control deck and we were trying to really control their game plan and then use Tectonic Edge to really potentially cut them off colors and things like that, maybe we could make a case for Tectonic Edge. But the thing about Ghost Quarter that I had, you know, in my quick decision to try the Tectonic Edge, I didn't really forget, I just sort of dismissed, but I changed my mind again, is just how useful it is against things like Inkmoth Nexus, because there's decks that don't have, they're never going to have like 4 lands into play. So you really just want the Ghost Quarter there. Also, just the fact that you don't have to hold mana up to use it is really great. So not really evaluating that, I'll probably just stick to the Ghost Quarters. But yeah, definitely the Ancestral Visions are still undecided. My experience has, like I said, been really good and not great. I'm still kind of evaluating these 2-mana counters. I'm not sure that in this meta right now, at least, we need the 4 Path to Exile. I would like a second Electrolyze just because the prevalence of Affinity. And then I'm still not 100% on the counter magic. We have to take 2 hard counters. Well, they're hard in that they always do something, and then 2 pretty soft ones. One of them is very flexible. I have the Remands right now because of like Ancestral Visions, things like that. I will tell you, I have played the 4 Remand version of this deck, and I think really if I always could, I would probably just run 2 Remand, 2 Leaks. I really like Remand, but I really like Leak as well. Sometimes you really just need a hard counter. And against decks like Affinity, where Leak seems bad, you can actually keep Leak in and usually get the thing that you really hate. Ideally, you just want to counter Edge Champion because that's their trump card. I talked about the sideboard in the first video, but I'll go over it quickly. Some things that I haven't been doing lately that are kind of new. I've really been happy with Pithing Needle. It is good for Planeswalkers. You can name like Academy Ruins if you're playing Lantern Control. You can name Aether Vials, Expedition Maps. There's just a lot of things you can name. I've even brought it in, even though I have my own Colonnades against Control, and was able to name Colonnade. So yeah, I've actually been really, really pleased with Pithy Needle. There's so many decks you find targets you didn't expect to find. I brought it in against that deck that lets you discard 2 cards to make a zombie, and that was great. Um, 3 Stony Sounds, I think that this card's probably just great right now. There's a lot of affinity. It's good against the Thopter combo. It's good against Lantern Control. It's good against any Tron decks that might be around. So I'm definitely going to run 3 of these. I think they're very high impact. I've been really happy with the one of Rest in Peace. It obviously works poorly against our Snapcaster Mage, but against the decks that I'm bringing it in against, if I'm able to resolve a Rest in Peace, then I'm just probably going to win. The decks that I'd be bringing it in against would be things like maybe I don't know if I'd bring it in against Grixis Control. That's a maybe, but certainly I'm not really, you could bring it in against Jum, but that's not really what I'm looking for it for. The decks I'm certainly bringing it in against would be like Storm, obviously the Living End deck, and what was I going to mention about Rest in Peace? Living End, Storm. Oh, you can bring it in against Lantern Control because it's worse for them than it is for you. So yeah, I've also played Rule of Law because this is good against Ad Nauseam. One of the things I realized is that it's good against Ad Nauseam, it's good against Living In, it's good against Storm, and it actually is probably okay versus... You could consider bringing it in against Infect, any deck that's really trying to cast a bunch of spells in one turn. But the nice thing about Rule of Law against Infect, by the way, is if they go for a pump and you have a removal spell, they can't do anything in response. But what I was going to say with regards to Ad Nauseam is normally what Ad Nauseam can do is they can cast Ad Nauseam, draw their deck, and then use one of their answers like the bounce spell to say bounce a Leyline or something like that. But if they cast Ad Nauseam, then they actually can't even go off. They can't do anything else. So that means that they have to find a way to get rid of Ad Nauseam before they go off. Rather, get rid of Rule of Law before they go off. Counterflux. This is a card that was run for a 2 of a long time ago in this deck, without question. And I like it right now because it has the possibility to, say, trade with somebody's visions just 1 for 1 without question. And I like that it's a hard counter for everything. We don't really have many of those, and it will work at any stage of the game. So if you bring it in against, say, Jund, you can counter whatever they play, at any point in time. And it also has, some sort of looking for some utility just against, other combo decks, just because it's uncounterable. Anger of the Gods for the Melira combo decks, the Zoo decks, the Merfolk deck, just any small creature deck. This Wrath of God would probably be another Anger, and that may change, but, if Melira's heavily played, it would be. But I've died twice to Thrun the Last Troll recently in a Modern League, and I think that he's back because there's just more blue-white, just blue-based decks floating around, so they're bringing in Thrun again. Engineered Explosives, because it's kind of a catch-all for many things, so is Wear Tear. Batter Skull, this could be a Kuranos. Either of these could be a Kuranos or what they are. I've just been really happy with Batter Skull lately. I've won several different games off of it. I haven't been bringing it in against Jund, but any match where you're the control deck and you're able to resolve a Batter Skull late game, unless they're gonna have artifact destruction. It doesn't draw you cards and remove more creatures, but it just really stabilizes your life total, and a lot of decks just can't win through a 4/4 Vigilance lifelink creature. And I've also put it on Geist of Saint Traft and lived the dream that I haven't lived in a long time. And Goblin Dark Dwellers, this was in the main at the very start, but I just think that the meta's pretty fast right now, and we only really want this card in games that we know are going to go long. So Then the same might even be able to be said about Ancestral Visions, but I don't see how we would ever fit 3 Ancestral Visions in our sideboard, but maybe. Anyway, so that's the deck. See you guys in a second. Okay, so we're gonna be on the draw. I'm not crazy about this hand, but it has some interaction. It has a removal spell. It has a creature / threat. So I think that we're going to keep it. I mean, some might just look at this and be like, oh, this hand's awesome. But if it had like 1 less land and a bolt, I think I would be much more pleased with it. But it is what it is. Hopefully we're going to play against a deck where this Spell Snare is just going to be great. That might be the case. We'll see. This Swift Spear, I'm going to guess this is going to either be burn or could be like a Delver deck. Turn 1 Mountain suggests burn though. Could also or like a Zoo deck of some sort. I know there's a blue-red Prowess deck that's floating around up there. Okay, so that's going to be great. Let me think here. If we're going to want to cast this next turn, then we really can't lead. We can't play Island here. One possibility is that we fetch, shock ourselves to Spell Snare their 2-mana play, and then our Helix will completely make up for that. So I think that that's okay. Like we can Spell Snare here and then untap and Helix. Interesting. Oh, shoot. I accidentally hit F2 too quickly. Okay, so let's see. I'm not willing to take the extra damage to correct my mistake. So I'm actually just going to get a Mountain, play the Plains, and just Helix this and hope that he doesn't have a Mutagenic Growth. So unfortunately we cannot cast our Click. Okay, we're definitely going to cycle away the Electrolyze knowing that we have a path in hand. There's a Bad Visions, but we'll go ahead and suspend it. Much rather that would have been a Serum Visions at this point. This guy's ticking down. Take our draw step. I will take 2. So I can play this Click. And I will Spell Snare whatever this is. Alright. Okay, so this is like the Kiln Fiend combo type deck. I think Dispel is good. Explosives should be good. I doubt that they play Blood Moons. They wouldn't want to dilute their deck that much. Batterskull might be good if we live that long. But that's really Ancestral Visions, I do not think that we want this card here. We just don't have time to mess with that. We just need to really draw into our removal spells. Rule of Law is probably reasonable, actually. So this is going to be like Death's Shadow, that kind of thing. The creatures are going to be big. I wonder if it makes sense to bring in another Wrath type effect. We could cut a Geist. I don't think that the Electrolyze is fantastic. I don't really like the Romance either, but you know, if he late in the, you know, if we're able to kill a few things and then he's able to deploy like 2 Death Shadows, if he's playing Death Shadow that are quite large, then it'd be nice to be able to wrap them away. I think I'm okay with this. It's good to win game 1 against a deck like this for sure. I feel like we might have to keep this, but we'd really like to have a Path to Exile if possible. See, what did we run? Did we run 4 Path? Yeah, we did. The issue that I've run into, I guess if he has a Swift Spear, we can potentially bolt it and Spell Snare like a Kiln Fiend. So I'm gonna keep this actually, but I'm unsure if it's correct. Okay, so it's this deck. Question is, do we just bolt here? He's going to have 2 mana next turn, and I just really doubt that he's going to be in a position to like kill us right away with this Blister Coil weird. If he had a Mutagenic Growth and we bolted, I'm going to just pass. And I'm doing this now because I don't know that he has enough mana to... Okay, a Swift Spear. Alright, let's think. What do we want to shoot? They're essentially the same card, except one has haste. Let's see, if he has like a Mutagenic Growth and Dispel, then we don't kill this. I'm going to shoot the Weird because I think that there's more of a chance, because it has 1 less toughness, that if he has a way to protect it, that we're actually able to kill it. Okay, so at least he's not using that on our turn. And yeah. Well, we'll play this. It's 3 cards. I actually think I'm going to remand this. I can always Spell Snare it next time, but here I can just try to draw into something. Man, lots of lands. Alright. I could play this Colonnade, but I want to represent more things. So I'm actually just going to play the Plains. And I'm going to hold up this Spell Snare for the Kiln Fiend. Alright. We know we brought in a Wrath of God. Didn't even bother to play it. Land, land, land. Whew. I want to play the Click, but if I do that, then I don't hold up Spell Snare. Maybe that's okay because... let's see. So if I Spell Snare this, then I take guaranteed 6. I think I need to and just stop whatever it is he's doing. Alright, just get Steam Vents here. We're dead to 2 spells. Yeah, we're just gonna be dead. Okay, so that's just... We were just dead to 2 Prowess triggers. Brute Force, Mutagenic... Okay, so he's probably running all the Mutagenic Growths. I don't like Anger. I just don't think it's going to get it done. That game didn't go fast, but... Maybe a Batterskull is just like a better than Restoration Angel. We're on the play now, so that makes Batterskull a little better, I guess. Yeah, I'm just gonna keep this. I mean, that last game we just didn't draw any removal. Alright, I think we have to keep this as well. Just lead on Colonnade. Right, a second bolt isn't bad. Alright, well, I'm going to take some damage here. Now we're just not going to draw lands. Let's see. Trying to decide if I do this now. The other thing is I think I can pass. I don't think he's probably running Teamer Battle Rage or whatever it is. Now he's got 3 mana. Because if it doesn't get trampled, then we can always just 2 mana for Teamer Battle Rage. So right now it would actually not get 4 power. It would get double strike. Rather, it doesn't get trample. So we could remand this. These remands are no good. I think I'm just going to actually throw a Snapcaster Mage in front of it. That effectively counters the attack and this Teamer Battle Rage. If we can draw another red source, then we're less scared of mutagenic growth or some pump spell for him to save it. See, if we Helix here, we go to 18. Still has 4 cards in hand. I think we just need to sort of represent everything and see how all in he wants to go. Okay. So here's the thing. If I bolt now, then 1 pump, it takes it out of bolt range and I get double striked. So I think I have to play it conservatively. Unfortunately. And here, because it's more mana efficient, I will Helix it. Gain some life. He's gonna save it for sure. So I just really need to draw a path or like even another red source. right? See, if I bolt him, he saves it. He's got one pump spell in hand at that point. I think I can just play this game one more time. Alright, well now we can shoot it and then dispel whatever he plays. We could go with the explosives on one. He has one card in hand. Plus, yeah, so we're just going to do the same thing. I don't... Yeah. So everything that is... Well... I was going to say we can play out this explosives now, but... Well, we are really, 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 really mana screwed. Really mana screwed. I'm going to discard the redundant click. I'm just curious here. We've drawn 17 cards. And he's flooded. Oh my gosh, please, please, something. I'm going to discard this angel. Oh my gosh, finally. It would be nice if it was a different land. Okay, now we're in business. I'm assuming he doesn't have a creature because he would have already played it. So in case he drew in here, we are going to go for the draw step click. Take a look at what is going on. So I'm going to just take the Swift Spear. So he can protect it with the blessing, and that's it. And we have a dispel for that. I could also just explosives here. Kind of don't hate that either. Yeah, I think that's fine. And I'm going to do it now as opposed to the end of his turn, because if there's any chance that he has, like, any kind of shenanigans, I would much rather, like, I can't think of what he could possibly have. We know it's in his hand. But let's say that we didn't. If we wait till his upkeep, then anything he might be able to do just triggers additional +1/+1 triggers on the Blister Coil Weird. So I think it's better to do it now. Manamorphose into Manamorphose. I think I'm feeling pretty good about this game. I'm feeling really good about this game now with 2 Path and a Dispel. If it doesn't do anything, I'm going to cycle this Electrolyze. It's pretty bad at killing his creatures. Alright, so this I will go ahead and try to take care of now. This Remand's actually not doing much. I could remand our path again. And then if this doesn't work, yeah, I'm going to do that. Then next turn I can still then path with this spell up. This lets us do something with the Remand. Oh. That was weird. I must have clicked. I clicked the wrong spell because the Path of Exile should have come back to our hand. That's not what I meant to do. So then here I'll just dispel this. So now we can path and we have Snap Dispel. Actually, he's just dead. We have Snap Bolt. Okay. Alright, guys. That is another game with Jeskai Geist. Yep. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Let's see. I'm just trying to think. I was trying to think really quick what was good, what was bad. These were bad in these last 2 games. Spell Snare seemed good there. I think Spell Pierce, had we drawn it against one of his pumps when he was low on mana, would have been fine as well. Yep. Hope you guys are enjoying it. Glad to be back. See you soon. Until then, draw well, smash face.